This is Japan, famous for a wide range of cultural, historical and technological contributions, ultra-modern technology, amazing food and traditional culture. But sadly, Japan's economy has stagnated for the past 30 years, leading to a whole generation being left out in the cold, stalling their life choices. So, how did this come about? To uncover the truth, we need to briefly go back to where it all began, 1952. The USA pulled out of Japan in 1952. Until then, the Japanese nation had been held back by severe economic restrictions. It's hard to imagine now with Japan being such an advanced economy, but Japanese exports were limited to mainly low-tech products such as silk and cotton. This severely restricted the amount of cash that was available to grow the Japanese economy, which had, of course, been decimated in the Second World War. But within a decade, they were exporting cars, cameras and electronics. How did this happen in such a short period? Never in human history has such an economic miracle occurred. It really is a fantastic story. The secret lies in the unique Japanese way of running their corporations. This unique way is called keiretsu. Keiretsus are interconnected companies bound by business relationships and shareholdings. These deep connections promote stability within the group, encourage cooperation, and facilitate sharing of knowledge and technology. Within the keiretsu, the companies also have access to cheap money from banks, enabling them to invest and expand quickly. This was all encouraged and supported by the Japanese government. They specifically targeted growth industries driven by government policy. Industries that had access to cheap labour, promoted technological innovation, and had a strong emphasis on exporting. A very wise strategy for the time. Suppose you compare this to two Western companies. Let's pick Facebook and Google for an example. In this case, they're both highly competitive and constantly competing against each other in a never-ending battle, hoping that one day one will triumph over the other and a takeover will happen. It's a winner-takes-all mentality. However, within the keiretsu system, companies have a vested interest in mutual success because the companies are so intertwined. Say a keiretsu company produces too many cars and can't sell them on the open market, then another keiretsu company, say a delivery company, will step in and buy all the cars. They all work together to promote and help each other. They are also united against a foreign enemy. The keiretsu system is designed to beat foreign competition on the international markets, keep foreign competition out of Japan, and strongly resist any mergers and acquisitions from foreign companies, giving them a distinct competitive advantage. Cultural protectionism leads to economic protectionism. You could argue this is typical for an island nation. From the early 1950s to 1985, Japan's average economic growth rate was amongst the highest in the world, often exceeding 5 to 10% in the 1960s and 1970s. This period saw Japan's GDP grow from a mere fraction of the world's largest economies to becoming the second largest economy globally by the 1980s. This had the Americans worried. Japan was getting it very right until they got it very, very wrong. From 1980 to 1985, the dollar appreciated by about 50% against the Japanese yen, making American exports very expensive on the world market. The Americans knew something needed to be done. Japan's exports remained competitive due to the advantages the keiretsu system brought. In steps the 1985 Plaza Accord. This agreement between France, West Germany, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States aimed to depreciate the US dollar, making American exports more competitive in international markets. If Japan had disagreed, then massive economic sanctions were promised. So, after being backed into a corner, Japan agreed. The dollar became more competitive and rapid yen appreciation followed. The Plaza Accord made Japanese exports more expensive and less competitive internationally. The USA had scored a victory, but unknown to them, it was much bigger than they thought. Japan responded to the Plaza Accord with aggressively low interest rates. This move was initially successful as it shielded Japan from American trade sanctions. However, the unintended consequences were severe. An influx of wealth into Japan over the previous 20 years and the record low interest rates led to a speculative investment boom in real estate and stocks. Money was cheap and people wanted to spend and make money. As a result, this created an economic bubble that would catastrophically burst. People were buying homes and investing in stocks as if someone had turned on the free money taps. In 1989, Mitsubishi Estate, a Japanese real estate company, bought a majority interest in the Rockefeller Center. This purchase symbolized the peak of Japanese economic influence and their significant role in global finance during that period. In response to growing concerns about the overheating economy and asset price inflation, the Bank of Japan began to raise interest rates in the late 1980s. The official rate was increased from 2.5% in 1989 to 6% in 1990. This made borrowing more expensive and reduced the flow of easy credit that had fueled the spending frenzy in real estate and stock markets. By the end of the 1990s, the Japanese stock market had dropped significantly from its peak. One of the lowest points occurred on the 1st of October 1998, when the Japanese stock market closed at a new low, marking a decline of approximately 67% from its peak at the end of 1989. The economic bubble bursting in the early 1990s was a terrible event for Japan. It triggered a severe financial crisis, the repercussions of which were felt across the Japanese banking sector and the broader economy. This crisis marked the beginning of the infamous lost decade, a period of economic stagnation and deflation that would haunt Japan for many, many years. After the bubble burst, Japan's economy entered a prolonged state of stagnation. The asset price collapse led to a severe banking crisis, with banks saddled with bad loans. This, in turn, reduced investment and severely hampered economic growth. The economic downturn also really impacted Japan's job market, marking a significant departure from its traditional lifetime employment system. In this system, individuals were hired straight out of school and remained with the same company until retirement. However, the economic conditions forced companies to scale back on hiring and make layoffs, a practice previously unheard of in Japan. This shift disproportionately affected young people, making it increasingly challenging for new graduates to secure stable full-time employment. To make matters even worse, because of the rigid structure of the Japanese job market, once employment opportunities are missed straight out of school, it is almost impossible for young Japanese job seekers to ever get back into large corporations. During the 1990s, most companies froze their hiring entirely, resulting in the lost generation. Many of them found themselves excluded from the job market, leading to many completely abandoning traditional life milestones such as marriage, starting a family, or purchasing a home. This financial instability and the lack of job security has had lasting demographic effects, contributing to Japan's declining birth rate and aging population. A staggering 75% of Japanese males in their 20s to 40s are not dating anymore or marrying, a stark reflection on the societal impact of the economic downturn. The bursting of Japan's economic bubble in the early 1990s triggered lasting changes that still affect Japan today. Economic stagnation has led to a deflationary spiral, with growth rates plummeting and the economy flatlining for decades. Demographically, Japan's birth rate fell sharply as economic uncertainty caused many young people to delay or forego marriage and children, resulting in a rapidly aging population. This shift has not only strained social services, but also reduced the labour force, further hindering economic recovery. Japan also has some of the strictest migration rules in the world and offers relatively few pathways for foreigners to gain permanent residency or citizenship. While this policy has succeeded in preserving social cohesion, it has also limited the influx of young workers who could help mitigate the effects of the declining birth rate. The collapse of lifetime employment has also led to the rise of non-regular jobs, which is now 40% of the workforce, often with lower pay and little job security. This has widened the gap between secure and temporary employment, fueling social discontent. The youth feel robbed of the life choices their parents were given. Culturally, the economic challenges have left a large psychological toll on Japan, and particularly on the lost generation, many of whom became hikikomori, individuals who withdraw from society, completely isolating themselves. This has also led to the 80-50 problem, where aging parents in their 80s struggle to support their reclusive children in their 50s. This highlights the profound societal impact the employment ice age has had on Japan.